So, my dear students, let's do the required revision for the chapter of states of matter. We know that there are three states of matter: solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. In the chapter, we will study about the states of matter. First, we should know about the surface and bulk. So, if you take a glass of water, you will realize that in a glass of water there is some part of water which is in contact with air. This part of water which is in contact with air is actually called the surface, but the rest of the part of water is known as the bulk. Now if we heat water, actually the water boils at 100 degrees centigrade temperature. The boiling of water takes place when there are so many molecules of water are available. Only single molecule of water does not boil or does not convert it into solid state, that is the ice. So actually we should study about the various states of matter. The various states of matter are the solid state, liquid state, and gaseous states. In all the three states of matter, chemical composition of water remains the same, that is H2O. So when we change the states of matter, the chemical properties does not change. Characteristics of three states of matter. Characteristics of three states of matter depends upon the energy of the molecules and the way by which these molecules are being arranged. So these states of matter depends upon the various the energy of the particles and the arrangement of the particles. Chemical properties does not change when we change the states of matter. But when we change the states of matter, their rate of reaction may be changed. So, while doing some calculation, we should know whether the substance is present in which molecular states. To understand the various states of matter, we should first understand the intermolecular forces. So, there are various types of intermolecular forces. Uh, we do not we may have the various intermolecular forces like the electrostatic force of attraction or the covalent bond, but the electrostatic force of attraction is known as the ionic bond, and covalent bond itself is a covalent bond, so we do not consider them as a intermolecular forces. So first we should know about the intermolecular forces can be of two types. One, they can be attractive intermolecular forces, and they may be the repulsive intermolecular forces. So when it comes to attractive intermolecular forces, we should first study about the van der Waals forces. These forces we call them as the van der Waals forces because the scientist Johannes van der Waals have first introduced them to us. Van der Waals forces are considerable in the magnitude, and these van der Waals forces includes the dispersion forces or London forces, dipole-dipole forces, and dipole-induced dipole forces. Particularly strong type of dipole-dipole interaction is known as the hydrogen bonding. Why hydrogen bonding is treated separately in separate category? Because only few elements shows the hydrogen bonding, and that is why we study them separately. So first we should study about the ion dipole forces, and can we consider them as the van der Waals forces? So attractive forces between an ion and dipole are known as ion dipole forces, and these are not the van der Waals forces. Now first we should study about the dispersion forces or the London forces. You know that if we have a molecule or an atom, then it is electrically neutral. So atom or non-polar molecule, the molecule is non-polar because we consider that the electric charges clouds are symmetrically distributed. Now you can see that we have two atoms, atom A and atom B, which are symmetry, which are non-polar. As they are non-polar, their charges are symmetrically distributed. Now, due to some reason, it so happens that momentarily electronic charge distribution in one of the atoms, say A, become unsymmetrical. So in A, the distribution of charges become unsymmetrical. That means at one side only negative charges are found, and at the another side automatically we generate the positive charges. So we can say that in A there is a dipole generated. Dipole means one pole negative, another pole positive. So you can see here that in B there is no yet dipole that has been generated yet. Now my dear students, we can understand it further. You can see that this A has got the negative charges on one side and positive charges on another side. So due to effect of A, both A and B are very near to each other, so they affect their electronic cloud, and that is why in B also the positive charges are attracted by the negative charges, and they are collected towards the negative charges, whereas at the opposite end all the negative charges are collected, and this is how the dipole also generated into the atom B. This dipole which is generated in atom B is known as the induced dipole, and thus we can have the both the atoms are having the dipole. Now suppose initially if in A the negative charges would be collected at left side, then the positive charges would have been collected at the right side, and the same kind of dipole may be generated into B. So dispersion forces or London forces are the forces that has been found between these two type of atoms A and B. The temporary dipoles of A and B attracts each other. Similarly, temporary dipoles are induced in molecules too. So force of attraction between two temporary dipole is known as the London forces or dispersion forces. These London forces or dispersion forces are the attractive forces, and their interaction energy is inversely proportional to the distance between them. It inversely proportional to the distance between them r to the power 6. So this is how, my dear students, interaction energy is inversely proportional to the sixth power of distance between the two interacting particles. R is known as the distance between the two particles. Short distance forces, they are the short distance forces, approximately they are 500 picometer distance is allowed. Magnitude or up to 500 picometer, they show their effect. Magnitude depends upon the polarizability of the particle. If particles can be more polarizable, there will be more force of attraction. So my dear students, up to this we have studied into the previous period. Now let us try to understand the dipole-dipole forces. So dipole-dipole forces act between the molecules possessing the permanent dipole. Now before I move to the um, further discussion, do you have anything to ask? Do you want to ask anything? Any one of you? Is there any doubt?
Sure.
Okay, then let's move forward. Great. Let's move to the dipole-dipole forces. Dipole-dipole forces act between the molecules possessing the permanent dipole and of the dipole possess partial charges, and these charges are shown by the Greek letter delta. Partial charges are always less than the unit, that is unit electronic charges. So the partial charges are less than 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. The polar molecule interact with neighboring molecule. You can see that Here we have HCl molecule. You know, chlorine is more electronegative, and that is why the negative charge is produced on chlorine, whereas the positive charge produced, a slight positive charge produced on hydrogen. So this is how we can see that when two HCl molecules are near to each other, the hydrogen molecule remains, if hydrogen molecule remains at the left side, then for all the HCl molecules, hydrogen molecule remains at the left side only, and chlorine molecule remains at the right side, and this is how they come closer to each other, and between the slightly negative delta and slightly positive delta, there is a dipole-dipole interaction between the two HCl molecules. Dipole-dipole interaction is stronger than the London forces. It is weaker than the ion-ion interaction. Dipole-dipole interaction are the attractive type of forces, and they decrease with the increase in the distance between the dipoles. So if the distance between the two dipoles or dipoles is being increased, then the force of attraction decreases. For stationary dipoles, if dipoles are not moving, they are stationary, interaction energy is inversely proportional to the 3 power of distance between the two particles. Once again, interaction energy is inversely proportional to the 3 powers of distance between the two particles. Dipole-dipole interaction energy between the stationary polar molecule is inversely proportional to the 3 power of the distance between the two interacting molecules. Now, if the molecules are rotating, so for between the rotating polar molecules, interaction energy is inversely proportional to the 6 power of distance between the two particles. Interaction energy for two rotating dipole is inversely proportional to the 6th power of distance between two interacting dipoles. So this is how, my dear students, we understand about the dipole-dipole interaction. Beside dipole-dipole interaction, polar molecules can interact by London forces too. Thus, cumulative effect is that the total intermolecular forces in polar molecules increases. And thus, we can understand that in dipole-dipole interaction, or among the molecules having the dipole-dipole interaction, they have dipole-dipole interaction plus the London forces. Now we have the question. Give reason why dipole-dipole interaction is stronger than the London forces but weaker than the ion-ion interaction. So dipole-dipole interaction is stronger than the London forces but weaker than the ion-ion interaction because only partial charges are involved in it. So my dear students, only partial charge are involved, and as these partial charge only are involved in this, and that is why they are the weaker than the ion-ion interaction or ion-ion forces. We have already seen that dipole-dipole interaction will always be present with the um, kind of forces that are known as the um, uh, London forces or dispersion forces. So dispersion forces will always remain there. Apart from dispersion forces, dipole-dipole interaction is present, and that is why it is the cumulative effect of both London forces as well as the dipole-dipole interaction. So this is how, my dear students, we understand the dipole-dipole interaction. Now we are going to study about the dipole and induced dipole forces. Let us study the next type of van der Waals forces, which is known as the dipole and induced dipole forces. This type of attractive forces operate between the polar molecule having the permanent dipole and the molecule lacking the permanent dipole. Permanent dipole of the polar molecule, induced dipole on the electrically neutral molecule by deforming its electronic cloud. So let us study how this process takes place. So suppose we have a permanent dipole, which is a polar molecule AB. On A there is slightly positive charge, and on B there is slightly negative charge. We have non-polar molecule available near to it. Now what happens due to the permanent dipole of AB on non-polar molecule also the dipole generated because the negative charge which is present on the right side pole will attract the positive charge of the non-polar molecule, and the positive charge will be collected on the left side and negative charge will be collected on the right side. That is why you can see that I have shown you the arrow which is having the cut tail on the left side and arrow on the right side. The same directive, the dipole with the same direction also induced, also produced into the non-polar molecule, and that is why the dipole induced dipole interaction between the permanent dipole and induced dipole takes place. The interactive energy for the dipole induced dipole forces will be inversely proportional to the sixth power of the distance between the two particle or two molecules. Interactive energy of dipole induced dipole is inversely proportional to the sixth power of the distance between the dipole molecule and the non-polar molecule in which dipole is induced. Induced dipole moment depends upon number one, the dipole moment present in the permanent dipole, and number two, polarizability of the electrically neutral molecule. Please remember that the induced dipole moment depends upon the induced dipole moment into the non-polar molecule depends upon the dipole moment present in the permanent dipole, and number two, polarizability of the electrically neutral molecule. Larger size can be easily polarized. So if the non-polar molecule is larger in size, there is more possibility of generating the induced dipole of a larger quantity. High polarizability increases the strength of the attractive forces. Dipole and non-polar molecules even attract each other with the dispersion forces, so we shall get cumulative effect of both forces. Here also, my dear students, that dipole and induced dipole forces are present, but the London forces or dispersion forces even present. So the total force of attraction, the total attraction forces would be dipole, induced dipole forces plus London forces. So we shall get the cumulative effect of both the forces in this case. So this is how, my dear students, we understood about the various forces of attraction that we have seen. We have seen, my dear students, about the various types of van der Waals forces. So here we have almost covered the various types of van der Waals forces. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask, or else we can move to the hydrogen bonding. Do you have which you don't understand anything? Do you want to ask anything? You can ask me. Dear students, is there anything which you could not understand? You can ask me. Shall we move forward? Can we go to the next part, hydrogen bonding?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
Please,
sir.
please have a habit of saying at least no if you do not have doubt or if you do not have anything to ask. You should please tell me, sir, no, we understood and we can move forward. Please reply. That is what it is being appreciated, or I would like you to reply this way. Next, we are going to study about the hydrogen bonding. We have already seen that hydrogen bonding is a special kind of attraction forces. They are special case of dipole-dipole interaction. So hydrogen bond is special case of dipole-dipole interaction. Hydrogen bond is found in the molecule in which highly polar sodium, highly polar nitrogen hydrogen, oxygen hydrogen, or hydrogen fluorine bonds are present. So hydrogen bond is formed into the highly electronegative elements like nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. Although hydrogen bond is regarded as being limited to nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine, but species such as Chlorine may also participate into the hydrogen bonding. So, a species such as chlorine also may participate into the hydrogen bonding. Energy of hydrogen bond varies between 10 to 100 kilojoule per mole. So, hydrogen bond energy, if you want to break a hydrogen bond per mole, you need to apply at least 10 kilojoule per mole minimum, and maximum the value is 100 kilojoule per mole, so that the bond can be easily broken. This is a quite significant amount of energy, and therefore hydrogen bonds are powerful force in determining the structure and properties of many compounds. For example, proteins and nucleic acid. My dear students, you will study either into the 12th standard in chemistry or in the 11th standard for biomolecules, that the hydrogen bond is present into the proteins and the nucleic acids. So this is how you can understand their structure is mainly because of the hydrogen bond. Strength of hydrogen bond. Strength of hydrogen bond is determined by the Coulombic interaction between the lone pair electrons of the electronegative atom of one molecule and the hydrogen atom of the other molecule. So, my dear students, see, we can understand what I said with the following diagram. You can see that we have hydrogen fluoride HF molecule. You can see that there is slightly negative charge on fluorine and slightly positive charge on hydrogen. So the slightly negative charge of fluorine have three lone pairs. These lone pairs and the hydrogen present into the nearby hydrogen fluorides, they get connected, they get attracted, and this attraction, this force of attraction is known as the hydrogen bonding. You can see the hydrogen bonding in water. You can see the hydrogen bonding in ammonia also. Now there are some forces which are also known as the repulsive interactions. Now let us study one question. Why solids and liquids are hard to compress? If we apply force to the solids or liquids, it is difficult to compress them. What is the reason? Let us study the reason. Molecules possess repulsive forces. My dear students, the molecules possess repulsive forces too. When two molecules are brought together in a closer contact with each other, the repulsion between the electron cloud and between the nuclei of molecule comes into play. The magnitude of repulsion rises as the distance between two molecules decreases. My dear students, please try to understand that, see, up to certain distance, the positive charge present in the nucleus, they do not come in contact with each other. First, the electron comes in contact with each other. When they come closer, when the atom come closer to each other, their repulsive forces comes into action. Initially, there are only attractive forces comes into play, but when the intermolecular distances decreases, the repulsive forces comes into action. As this repulsive forces comes into action or play, magnitude of repulsion rises at the and thus they do not come closer to a certain distance. So when we compress, the repulsive molecular forces comes to play. Thus it is hard to compress the liquids and solids. In liquids and solid states, molecules are already in close contact, so further compression is difficult due to the repulsive interaction. So this is how, my dear students, we study about the repulsive interaction. My dear students, we are going to study a very important part which is known as the thermal energy, but we shall study about the thermal energy in some other period in detail. Let me first tell you about the definition of the thermal energy. Thermal energy is the energy of a body arising from the motion of its atoms or molecules. So this is how, my dear students, we can truly understand about the various interactive forces. Today we have studied about the two type of van der Waals forces. My dear students, can you tell me which are the two types of van der Waals forces available today, which we have studied? Dear students, can you please tell me what are those two types of van der Waals forces that we have studied today?
Cure force.
बच्चों आज हमने
डाइपोल फोर्स
दो प्रकार के आप वेरी गुड, आप जिसने भी बताया, पर अभी भी एक फोर्स जो हमने पढ़ा वो छूट जा रहा है, वो बता दीजिए प्लीज।
डिस्पर्सन फोर्स।
देखिए van der Waals फोर्सेस, ओके चलिए आपको याद है, व्हाट आर द थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ van der Waals फोर्सेस? व्हाट आर द थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ van der Waals फोर्सेस? नहीं बताएंगे?
डिस्पर्सन फोर्सेस।
डिस्पर्शन फोर्सेस, ओके।
डाइपोल
देन व्हाट नेक्स्ट?
डाइपोल इंटरमोलिक्यूलर फोर्स।
ओके, तो आज हमने कौन कौन से पढ़े इसमें से? वैसे रिवीजन में तो कुछ नहीं पढ़े, है ना? अच्छा, उसके बाद क्या पढ़ा? व्हाट डिड वी स्टडी आफ्टर दैट? हमने एक स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन भी तो पढ़ा।
यस सर।
व्हाट वाज दैट?
बताओ।
हमने लास्ट में कौन सा फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन पढ़ा यार? एक बॉन्ड पढ़ा ना, हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड। Which are those elements which shows the hydrogen bonding? Which are those elements which shows the hydrogen bonding?
HCl।
मैं एलिमेंट पूछ रहा हूँ बेटा, HCl तो कंपाउंड है।
नाइट्रोजन ऑक्सीजन सॉरी।
Which are those elements which shows the hydrogen bonding?
नाइट्रोजन।
Very good, correct बताया।
ऑक्सीजन।
Very good,
क्लोरीन
very good। अब तीनों बता दो, अब तीनों, कोई एक ही लड़का या लड़की, तीनों बता दो। Anyone of you?
नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन एंड फ्लोरीन।
वेरी गुड, वंडरफुल, आई अप्रिशिएट, बहुत अच्छे। चलिए, व्हाई वी कैन नॉट कंप्रेस सॉलिड्स एंड लिक्विड्स मच, हमने अभी पढ़ा। व्हाई वी कैन नॉट कंप्रेस सॉलिड्स एंड लिक्विड्स मच? सॉलिड्स एंड लिक्विड्स को हम ज्यादा कंप्रेस क्यों नहीं कर पाते?
कैन यू एक्सप्लेन मी वंस मोर?
I think I can, but let someone answer. Okay. शायद आप लोग को इंग्लिश में समझ में नहीं आया, चलिए हिंदी में ट्राई करते हैं। देखिए, जब हम किसी को भी कंप्रेस करते हैं तो उनके बीच का डिस्टेंस कम होता है। जब डिस्टेंस कम होता है तो ये जो रिपल्सिव फोर्सेस है वो कम्स इनटू प्ले, क्योंकि कुछ डिस्टेंस से ज्यादा हो तो रिपल्जन होता नहीं है, अट्रैक्शन ही होता है। पर जब ज्यादा नजदीक लाया जाए तो रिपल्जन होता है, और रिपल्जन की वजह से वो फिर एक दूसरे से ज्यादा नजदीक, अगर हम बाहरी फोर्स भी जब लगाते हैं तो वो एक दूसरे से ज्यादा नजदीक नहीं आ पाते, और जब बाहरी फोर्स लगाने से वो एक दूसरे से ज्यादा नजदीक नहीं आ पाते, तभी ये होता है कि हम उसको ज्यादा कंप्रेस नहीं कर पाते। एंड दैट इज व्हाई ड्यू टू द प्ले ऑफ द रिपल्सिव फोर्सेस वो ज्यादा नजदीक नहीं आ पाते। और